I said I love Pokemon Crystal, but I've been rushing through it like I didn't. I genuinely forgot why I started the series. Somewhere between trying to grow on YouTube, rushing uploads, and proving I could finish something, I stopped actually experiencing Pokemon Crystal. And for a catch-em-all series where I'm completing every Pokedex in each generation, I've barely caught anything. But I'm changing that. I'm 12 hours in with 6 badges, an abysmally low Pokemon count, and a party that's just messy. I've skipped routes, let Suicune slip by, and somehow my room looks just as unfinished as my save file. It just took actually 3 underperforming videos to wake me up and correct this ship. Before I could finish my Crystal playthrough, I needed to remember what Johto felt like when I wasn't trying to turn it into content. So I went back to the beginning. In Silver. Silver arguably has the best sprites and the best legendary of all time. I took my time in Silver and I made the run fun for me. I made sure to use the guide to experience everything there was to do in Johto. And I also might have sent myself a Charmander egg to go along with my Totodile. And probably another egg too. But I had to go back to find my love for Johto that I remembered so fondly as a kid. I still remember coming home and seeing my parents rummaging through their suitcases to hand me Silver. I started right that night and played until the batteries of my Game Boy died. Stepping onto Route 29 that night after choosing my starter and just hearing Sentret, Hoot Hoot for the first time and just realizing that Johto didn't feel like Kanto 2.0. It felt quieter, slower, almost like the game wanted me to notice. Really, I just wanted to remember what I found so fond of this region and why I loved it so much. So I definitely took my time. By the time I had a couple of hours in it, I had already done more than I ever did in Crystal. And that's what Silver gave me, and Crystal needed that back. Compared to Red, Blue, and Yellow, Crystal asked a lot more of you, and I was giving it less. By the time Crystal rolled out, a lot of the issues were fixed. Unless, of course, you trade back to Gold and Silver and just start abusing glitches again. Low-key, a shiny Blastoise would be fire. But that's a different cry for help. Silver reminded me what Johto felt like, but Crystal still had the problem I left behind. The next step is to fix the party. I've had a lot of indecision and moving parts so far, and I'm not sure I exactly like who I have. Golbat is the strongest, but she can't fly yet until it's evolved. Weepinbell was swapped for Jolteon, and Matchup is still in the party, but he's not exactly useful for the next gym battles I have coming up. Quilava and Wartortle are the 2 most consistent members of the group. But I'm still missing that 6th member to round the party out. But I can't fix everything unless I can fly. So that's the first mission, is to get Crobat. And here's the thing, Golbat doesn't evolve if I just grind harder. It literally evolves because I spend time with it at night. It's annoying because I can't skip time, but on the other hand, I've skipped through enough playthrough as it is. I even ordered a Golbat figure. And for days it looked like it was never gonna ship because they never added the tracking number, which honestly feels on brand for this episode. I thought the thing I needed wasn't coming, and it was already on the way. So it showed up, I built her, and I put her on my desk. And we kept going. Zubat and Golbat were always treated like pests. Right there with like Rattata and Raticate and those likes. Just annoying cave Pokemon. Something you ran from, boxed, or ignored. But in Gen 2, if you actually stay with it long enough, it becomes Crobat, one of the strongest versions of itself. Which is annoying because that means the Pokemon everybody dismissed still needed the same thing I kept skipping. Time, attention, and care. Next thing I knew, she finally became a Crobat, and now all of Johto is open to us. Crobat didn't evolve because I pushed harder, she evolved because I stayed. And once she evolved, I could fly again. Which meant the next step was fixing the rest of the team. Matchup helped me earlier, but he didn't fit where I was going, so I let him go. I didn't exactly let him go, I put him in the box. I had been carrying pieces of the old plan just because they were already there. But the answer to his replacement was already sitting in my box. A Ghastly I caught way back in Bellsprout Tower. I ignored it and I just dropped it in the daycare. Basically forgot about it until I needed something stronger for where this run was going. So I trained him up, traded him over, and brought back Gengar. Now I had Crobat, I had Gengar, and I added Scyther in as a temporary 6 to help me catch what I skipped. With that, I went back to New Bark Town, and give me a moment again with this theme song. So great. Anyways, I go see my mom and head to Route 29. I have my guide open to make sure I don't miss any Pokemon around. And by making Scyther my temporary 6 member, the catches are a little bit easier thanks to his false swipe attack. This attack will leave any Pokemon I hit down to 1 HP, making it super simple to catch, you'd think. I literally turned the pages back on my digital guide because this thing is like $200 and I'm unemployed. So every route I've rushed past, I was back in it now and cleaning up the Pokemon in these routes. Started this reset with 39 Pokemon caught, but then that count kept climbing. Route 29, Route 30, Route 31, Union Cave, Route 32, headbutting trees, catching Pokemon I skipped because I thought they didn't matter yet. And even my mom came in clutch with the money she's been saving. I kind of spent all my money on Pokeballs and I was in a rough situation. So I borrowed 10,000 Pokedollars and bought 40 Pokeballs like a responsible adult. You know, this is what we do. And once I finally started paying attention, Suicune showed up in a place I had never seen it before. What? And then right after, Entei pulls up. I had the volume low, so I couldn't even tell the theme music until I was editing. That just made me realize the game wasn't empty. I had just been moving so fast that I didn't notice it. But by the time I stopped, I had gone from 39 Pokemon to 95 and filled up my 4th box. Along the way, Scyther stopped being temporary. He helped me catch what I skipped, and since I had a metal coat just sitting in gold, it only felt right to trade him over and let him become Scizor, the 6th member. So for the first time in this run, the party actually had a purpose. By the time I made it back to Mahogany, most of the party was already around level 32. Wartortle was ready for Team Rocket. Quilava finally had Flame Wheel, and I wasn't walking into the next part of the game trying to catch up anymore. At first I thought I was going back for Pokemon, but the longer I stayed there, the more it felt like I was going back for proof that I still care. But then at some point I realized my room looked exactly like my Pokedex. Full of things I collected but I never really took care of. Boxes of old purchases, gear I kept saying I needed to upgrade, and shelves full of things I loved but I barely touched. Most of it still works, although it's older. My MacBook is slower now, but it still edits. My gaming PC is like 5-6 years old, but this same one helped me reach millions of people. And this room has already carried so many versions of me, but I was still acting like the next upgrade was going to save me. I didn't need saving nor a new setup. I just needed to actually use and take care of the one that I had. And that's when Crystal started making sense again. I didn't need to sprint to the next route. I just needed to take care of the one I was already in. Novel concept, huh? Now, I don't think I fixed everything. The walls still have their marks. The eBay listings are far from done. Although the Pokedex is at 96 now, it's a long way from where it was, but a long way from where it needs to go. Crobat didn't evolve because I pushed harder, she evolved because I stayed. And although I went back for Pokemon I missed, I think I was really going back for parts of myself that I stopped paying attention to. And maybe that's what growth looks like sometimes. Not becoming a brand new person overnight, but just taking better care of what God already gave you. With that, I'll see you at the next gym.